Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday morning. It's time to do yet another update on our blockbuster winter storm that is heading our way. I've been with WFMJ for a little over 9 years, close to 9.5 years at this point, and this has the potential to be the biggest snow event in my time here at 21 News. This could be something we haven't seen in at least 10 years, maybe even going back almost 30 years if amounts get high enough. We'll talk about some of the numbers here momentarily in this video, but let's talk about timing and everything else you need to know, including impacts. And first things first, here's the storm this morning, still moving through the southern tier of states, an ice storm underway in parts of South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia as well. The leading edge of the snow is already trying to get up into central and northern Kentucky, parts of West Virginia, although at the very top of this is probably not snow that's reaching the ground just yet. But this thing is wasting no time. It is coming north, and we still have, of course, winter storm warnings out for all of eastern Ohio and into western PA as well, every county in the pink. The National Weather Service overnight did add a layer of winter weather advisories to our west, including the Cleveland area, Akron, heading down towards Columbus. But everywhere in our TV viewing area, this is a winter storm warning that goes into effect this afternoon and this evening, and runs right through parts of Monday. All right. Wanted to talk briefly about the nature of this snow, and we'll get to the timing and the amounts momentarily, but this is going to be a pretty wet snow event. A lot of times you hear us talk about snow to liquid ratios, and kind of a general rule of thumb is 10 to 1 or even 12 to 1 is kind of typical as far as a snow to liquid ratio. In other words, about an inch of liquid, an inch of rain is roughly equivalent to about 10 inches of snow. This is going to be pretty wet. Now, when it starts snowing this evening, it's going to be in the mid-30s temperature-wise, and this is going to be goopy, wet snow at first with ratios. You see some of the numbers popping up here as I move my cursor around. We could have 7 or 8 to 1 ratios, and anything below 10, that's really wet snow. As we go forward into the evening, and maybe even a little sleet gets involved for a time, it's still going to be fairly wet snow for a time this evening. And I still think there can be some sleet pellets trying to mix in here and there. Now, as we head deeper into the night, into the overnight, this will become drier snow. And so our ratios get up to 12 to 1, 14 to 1, 15 to 1, things like that as we head through the overnight. But that layer of pretty goopy wet snow will be there underneath the fluffier stuff. And so this, not only is it going to be heavy and wet, but it's going to be a lot of snow. We're going to talk about amounts in this video, but if you've been following me on social media, you know that, I kind of think double-digit amounts are going to be pretty likely in most spots. We continue to have a 9 to 12-inch range in our current forecasts that you're going to find on the Storm Tracker 21 app and on our website and on WFMJ Weekend Today. But I think 9 in a lot of places is kind of in the bag at this point. 12, even a little bit more, is going to be a distinct possibility. So it's a lot of snow, and it's going to be kind of heavy and wet as well. All right, let's talk about timing. It looks a little faster to me today as far as the onset than it did yesterday. So what we're going to do here is roll this forward, and you can look at if you point my finger over this way, in other words, up here, those are the clock times on this computer model. I think in our southern viewing area, down towards East Liverpool, Salineville, heading over towards Highlandtown, Wellsville, places like that, it's going to try to start snowing as early as 4:30, maybe just before sunset this evening. This will push off to the north, and I think in most of our TV viewing area, at the latest, it's going to be snowing by about 7 o'clock or so. Conditions will go downhill, especially on side roads at first. Now, at first, the air temperatures will be fairly mild, still a little bit above freezing, but the ground is still pretty cold. We got down into the single digits last night, and this snow, the rates will be, pretty heavy at first. So even though it might be 32, 33 for a while early this evening, the snow rates and the ground temperatures should allow this to start sticking pretty quickly, again, particularly on kind of those non-major roads. As we go deeper into the evening, you see a little bit of kind of that peach color showing up here. This is where we might see some sleet mixed in, some big, fat, wet snowflakes, and also some sleet pellets. And that window is roughly 8 or 9 p.m. to maybe midnight, 1 a.m. or so. By about 2 or 3 in the morning, the threat for sleet is gone, and I think we're just firmly in a very heavy snow band at this point. In the wee hours of the morning, it is going to be snowing at a rate of, maybe 1, 2, even 3 inches per hour. Those are pretty big time snow rates, and that'll make travel virtually impossible or very, very difficult. And it'll make it so the road crews will have a very hard time keeping up. A lot of people are wondering about Monday morning, whether you need to go to work or you have a doctor's appointment or something like that, something that's going to require you to leave the house and go out and about. We've stopped the clock here at about daybreak Monday morning, 7 a.m. At this point, I think it's still snowing, maybe not quite as hard as a few hours previous to this, but it's still going to be snowing at 7 o'clock in the morning, and certainly because of all the snow that we will have had overnight, the roads will surely still be a mess at this point. Then the snow will taper off and end from west to east towards lunchtime. So here we go at about noon on Monday. By this point, things are quieting down. Beyond that, into Monday afternoon, Monday evening, we'll see probably a little lake effect trying to kick in. Some gusty winds as well. The lake effect component to this, once we're done with the storm itself, additional accumulation should be pretty modest. Maybe someone gets an additional inch or two out of this. With the lake effect, it's a little hard to say, but I don't think this is going to be a big lake effect event once we are done with the main storm itself. All right, I posted this graphic earlier today. This is just basically a computer model simulation of snowfall amounts. This is not an official forecast, and we're not good enough to say to specify snow amounts within a tenth of an inch, 11.9 here, 13.7 there. But it just gives you a sense as to kind of what is most likely. And I think that in just about all of extreme eastern Ohio and western PA, double-digit snow amounts are going to be very, very common. Might someone only get 9 instead of 10 or 11? Yeah, but most of us are probably going to see the double digits. And I've been mentioning since yesterday, once you're up at these lofty numbers, the amounts, the impacts with these amounts are all about the same. There's not much of a difference trying to remove 10 inches of snow and 12 inches of snow. There's not going to be much of a difference on the roads and general impacts. So don't focus too much on the numbers. It's a lot of snow, and it has the potential to be the most snow that we've seen around here in quite a while. In fact, here's a list of some of the big-time snow events, 2-day snow totals. The biggest on record, that historic storm back in November of 1950. A lot of people remember this because it was during Thanksgiving time. The Ohio State-Michigan game was played during this. We had 26.5 inches of snow in 2 days around here. We're not going to see anything like that here. But beyond that 1950 storm, more recently, 1993, that was a blockbuster in March in which we picked up 15.4. More recently than that, we had a lot of big snow events about 12, 13, 14, 15 years ago. So you see February, Valentine's Day of 2007 on here. You see December of 2010, a couple of storms that December. What a crazy December that was in 2010. Here's one in 2009 in January. But and we did have one just after Christmas that gave us a little over 10 inches, not on this list, but that was in 2012. And really, it's been since that December 26th, 2012 storm that we've had double-digit snowfall totals. And, it's going to be possible. It's not our forecast at this point, as of this recording, but it's going to be possible we might flirt with that 1993 number of 15.4. I don't want to rule that out. Again, not an official forecast at this point, but something that can't be ruled out. So what do you need to do to prepare? Again, from south to north, the snow will overspread the area as we get into the late afternoon and early evening today. So you've got until 4 or 5 o'clock to get ready for this. I mentioned earlier on social media concern about scattered power outages. The weight of this snow will be pretty significant. If you get a foot of snow, and a lot of it's pretty waterlogged, pretty heavy snow, some scattered power outages will be a possibility. So a good idea to charge up those devices today, prepare to perhaps be without power for a time tonight into tomorrow. And of course, it's going to be pretty cold outside. So if you're without power for a while, it could get pretty cold in your house. I don't think it's going to be a widespread power outage situation, but patchy scattered power outages, something we can't rule out at this point. So I'm recording this video at about 10:15 a.m. I'm of course going to have more updates throughout the midday and afternoon today. I'll be on 21 News this evening at 6 p.m. No football on our air early this evening, so we will have a 6 p.m. newscast. So look forward to bringing you updates throughout the day and this evening on 21 News. Have a great rest of your Sunday, and thank you as always for watching.